but it's Ghost Factory Racing to get the inside line and cross the line first. Cannondale finished just 1 second behind, and Toyota Specialized 91 crossed the line just over 5 minutes behind. The women's podium sees Toyota Specialized 91 in third, Cannondale Factory Racing in second, and with a time of just under 4 hours and 26 minutes, it's Ghost Factory Racing and Terpstra Nicole Kohler who take their second win in a row at their first Cape Epic and retain a firm hold on the Orange Leaders jersey. In the overall leaders in the men's and women's UCI Elite categories at the Absa Cape Epic. After 2 days of racing, it is As You Were, World Bicycle Relief and Ghost Factory Racing. So Lawrenceford Wine Estate was the prologue. We're now in beautiful Saronsburg, the wine estate just outside Tulbach, and the furthest loop of this year's race from the start at Lawrenceford will be ridden today in the Witzenberg Valley, a remote valley that produces deciduous fruit predominantly, but apples and pears and some grape as well. But it is one road into that route via car and via mountain bike. Well, they're coming into from the western side of that valley and up an old wagon path. It's going to be a very, very tough ride indeed. And then, of course, tomorrow, that is stage 3, takes them from Saronsburg to Wellington, a transitional day, and then 2 days of trail riding with the Queen stage in Wellington on stage 4. And then everyone, the riders and all, will be bussed across to Stellenbosch for the final 2 days and the grand finale, which will finish in the heart of Stellenbosch, which for many people is the spiritual home of mountain biking in South Africa. It is trail heaven, and they'll explore the beauties and wonders of the Simonsberg Mountain and Jongershoek. The trails there are legendary. But that is to come today. It's all about the Witzenberg Valley and a stage of 97 kilometers and 2,200 meters of climbing. They'll be challenged early on, Neil Gardner, with that climb up the wagon path.
Well, that wagon trail is an extremely tricky section, especially so early with the riders. They'll be sure to be warming up. And just a bit of stats on that wagon trail. It is 7.4 kilometers long, and the elevation gained by the riders is 760 meters. And considering that the whole stage is 2,200 meters of climbing, 760 kilometers in the first 760 meters in the first under 20 kilometers is it's a big climb. The tops are 1,133 meters, and it takes about 40 minutes for the top riders to get all the way up. 10% average gradient, but that says nothing about what the trail surfaces are all about.
They head around in an anti-clockwise direction up that wagon trail. It is probably the toughest climb in that it is single track all the way, very rocky and rugged all the way to the top. But what makes it slightly easier than perhaps Funchies Pass yesterday is it comes very early in the day, whereas Funchies Pass came in the last 10 kilometers yesterday after a really grueling day. And then they go around the Witzenberg Valley with various sections of single tracks, Slagboom and Belgium, single tracks and the panorama as well, before a really tough drag up onto the ridge line on the Witzenberg Mountain to bring them to the top of that wagon path, which they descend down. That will be the tough section as well.
The front line looks really strange, first of all, because it's just a mountain, but we've seen this kind of process before at the race in this location. We first visited Tulbach in 2011, and so it's been a long-time visited town of the race, and even though something might look familiar, there's always something new, always something special for the Absa Cape Epic in the 20th edition in 2024.
So that's the on the menu for them today here at the Absa Cape Epic on a beautiful day. The weather is set fair. That is, if you think fair is temperatures rising towards the low to maybe mid-30s later on today. So it is going to be very, very testing day for those further back in the field. The early start, 7 a.m. start, means that the early riders will get the best of the conditions, but the riders starting all the way through to around 8:30 will really cop some very, very tough conditions later on in the day. now come to the start line into goal. The line is gathered ahead of the right today. The top 10 teams in the men's elite category are called up into the start chute. And before they do, they chat to the legend Joey Barton.
Collaboration is key for team success. With Hookup, you can easily manage your team's tasks and timelines in one app. Using our Gantt chart feature, you can map out your team's tasks and set dependencies to ensure everyone is on the same page. Adjust timelines, change colors, and add more tasks as your project progresses. Hookup's Gantt chart feature makes project management a breeze, so you can focus on what really matters, collaborating with your team to achieve your goals. Say goodbye to multiple apps and enjoy seamless team collaboration with Hookup. Get started today.
Good night.
been third in the GC at the moment. So, what are your expectations for today's stage?
Yeah, we're obviously really happy with third, but we want a bit more. So hoping today we can hold on to the front girls a bit longer and yeah, see what our legs had to the final climb.
Good luck for today.
So much for that. Thank you.
Una Candice, good morning. First of all, how are you feeling? This stage, in the longer stage today, it seems to be the decision maybe at the end. These are the winners.
But yeah, it's also a bit dangerous. For sure, we don't want to risk any mechanics. So that's the first one.
Keep it safe and good luck for today. But I'm looking forward to see you going down that trail. Good luck with you.
A former winner talking to a double former winner there. Bart Brenton's chatting to the riders ahead of today's start. Mechanicals, well, Sebastian Finney broke a chain on the sprint to the line yesterday. suppose I couldn't have captained it better time if you're going to break a chain and a couple of meters from the finish. They charge away from Saronsberg here in Tilbach at a breakneck speed. Same direction as they went yesterday, heading up the third road alongside this race finish. And it was spaced out yesterday with a slight come together out there. If no one is too happy with so headed now with that moving very early on. So position getting to a position early on and trying to find himself out of trouble and a clear ride up that time is going to be critical, and you can get that a lot of these guys will be charging hard. And there's Matt Beals early on alongside Bart Allman, who is the kind of specialised 21 rider will be in today with Hamilton to make it to the count. They're 1 minute and 10 seconds behind World Market for the lead of the 23rd year from Buff. Maybe they yesterday stage winners. Start today 1 minute and 30 seconds behind Nino Schurter and Sebastian Feeney. The winner of Victoria was yesterday 2:25 down. The big winners yesterday were from last year beat Obeah North East Company 6 minutes and 48 seconds on their start today. Their Morgan man really suffered yesterday. We need to use our women and this full batch of riders and overall the post-factory races now 1 minute and 6 seconds ahead of the Canada factory races there Cam Court and Lauren Nicolaus. They will specialise Tamara Shepherd and 6 minutes and 12 minutes in the third place of the Shepherd who is now seen the recap of yesterday Shepherd on their ready time and 6-12 back and all good work to do to find themselves in the mix here. And the next to get out, that's for sure. And this is of course just the second marathon stage. We go right the way through this Sunday and they get the hit after hit of similar stages. Now let's time, and this is Alexis Spada and Villa Rossa are really showing hard, quickly this time is. And it's thumbs up there from Aspire to Fiat, then is Fiat High. The recognize on the front, this is Matt Beals. And look on Lucas Lager on second from the Dixon Bird Valley. Well, he's got that nice rhythm that recruits him so well on the flat, and people have to limit the hard work that they're working up, and they've got great on the line, and running up the score exactly how the other part of works, they've got great two lines. Conceivably looks like second place on the front, but certainly setting the pace on the front half over, and it was absolutely charging. It showed you what the speed company racing team did yesterday. The first movement is a tool of fantastic form, and just making sure that he keeps the speed in the field out and get very straight shot. He knows very well this is a good section to take advantage of any of the weaknesses. The party all the way from going, and just with the long journey at the pace at this point in the stage. Well, further back, the back is rolling away, but the importance there of the yellow grid, your bicycle, you can really off the pace, and the reason for that is that Sebastian Feeney had an early contact on the flats leading into this time, so they, Nino Schurter and Sebastian Feeney, have to do some work to regain contact, or try and regain contact with that group up as long as climb. No good time to lose time at this point. I just talked to the Patricks today, and only last minute, I think they're going right behind the leading teams of Megaberg and the Toyota Specialized 91 team. Damon Stepp and Andrew Houston chasing the Masters leaders there. It was Carl Platt and Thomas Villaseca. They were headed out in A batch. Daniel Tenner and Bianca Becker leading off batch later on in the day in the sunshine. For Kim Champ Africa, they are devoted stage race riders. They'll be doing every single the Epic Series race this year around the world, and they are certainly enjoying their life on a mountain bike, and that's really a real commitment. Zara is here through as well. So this is all set up for a glorious day of racing today. But these riders that we heard, many of them know what they're in for here. This stage which featured the much of the safety predominantly yesterday in the track mounted by myself as a 4-day UCI ready race about a month ago in the cards. It starts on the other side of the Witzenberg Valley. Today will have done their homework. And those runners who run those cars this year, the likes of Buren, Alex Miller, who was there as well. So they will know exactly what the line is talking about. That helps.
It does help as well, which is healthy, because it's one aspect of your psyche and one aspect of the psychology that makes you just relax, just a little bit, just puts you in the mind at ease, and you one of those things to worry about. And this very much a process to the race, is not playing this, we're not talking about it, it's think about winning to the it's one step at a time, and this incremental differences can make a big difference from the core anchor and the end of race week.
Mark Harlan has shown in the first few days of this year's Africa because he is a man in heat condition, and he's leading the elite men up to this high-stepping on his belt. Howard Cross is the climbing master in the Curtis Society. That is just a little bit off that, and then it is Stephen Rebensteiner of the William Victoria team, and then it's Lucas Down, and then it's somebody called, and behind the median e-bike, the e-bike, is Gareth Egger pushing his bike up there. So it could be another tough day. But right to the top, this is the Millennium today, and look at this for spectacular geography as they come through this gap in the rock. Absolutely beautiful. The sun shining on the rock face. The leading line is yet together at stage 2, prior to the Witzenberg Valley. The gateway to the Witzenberg Valley.
You said for sure that we haven't seen this in the race. We did talk earlier about the fact that there is some familiarity of the stage. The riders will know that this is a new feature. We haven't seen this before in the race. And we have Leo Schurter and Sebastian Feeney riding up the climb, having to minimize their losses there. About 1 minute or so with the older deficit at this point in the race. We think they can take that weight into being confident just to go value.
It's not automatic there that it's taken out and they're not using it for anything. Canyon City Stutzman and Seabolt go through. They need to recoup some time on the overalls after a tough day yesterday. And they are putting themselves in the top 5 50 minutes. They're driving the sunshine on the Witzenberg Valley side. It's one of the oldest fruit producing valleys in the Western Cape. And still, these farms are still many of them in the same families that originally started out. So they pass through Oak Grass Farm, the farm of Kalangoa, Victoria. That's the first of the waterways, just about 19 kilometers in. And that was Leo Schurter and Sebastian Feeney, about a minute, just over a minute down from the country. Africa leaders, that's Africa busy. It was a sensational day yesterday. Tristan Lourquier, you heard from him at the start of the day, and Mark Pritson going along very, very well indeed. And here are Seabolt and Stutzman just chasing back and trying to keep in touch with the Orbea Liet Speed Company pair and William Victoria on this group. And this is the group that are all chasing, the lead group at the moment. Beers and Grotz on the front, they setting the pace. Alleman and Becking just in their wake. These are the heavyweights today. The big question is, how much time can they put into Nino Schurter and Sebastian Feeney? And allied to that question is, how much time are the World Bicycle Relief men going to, or how much effort they're going to put in to try and regain? That's going to be the story perhaps of the early part of today.
Yes, Pat Puncher could prove extremely costly, not just from the time that's lost from the World Bicycle Relief team with Nino Schurter and Sebastian Feeney. It's not just all about the time loss, it's the energy that's expended to get back into the front of the field. And there'll be no gifts, absolutely no gifts from the teams that are trying to front right now. It's a pressure, that's what it's all about. Not trying to about cover, preserving your own body, but also keeping your equipment going. And mechanicals are really a big part of this race.
Anyone heading up to the wagon it is perhaps the toughest thing. Here's a difficult situation here. This is Björn up ahead there. The many Jack Alexa Spada. And the official authority ensured SCB Stern team are losing time already today. Spada, the American champion, no real panic here. So they obviously should have changed the answer on the final 59. Meanwhile, it is the both factory racing teams who are still on the front and coach Nicole Collins. And looking very comfortable is Candice Neal. Behind her is the Argentine rider Sofia Gomez Villafan. She's looking comfortable, but Sabrina Shepherd, her partner, is not in that category. Trying to introduce our co-commentator today, and Sabine Spitz. You know this race, you know this sport better than any of us in here. Rather than have you alongside us once again, Sabine. Is that elite group of ladies now, so the Ugandans do a fine. This is still a little early today. The front girls have the three top teams in the positions on GC as well. So the Ugandans do a fine. So Maya Shepherd wins the first factory racing player. The world champion in America, Mia Littlewood, and Candice Neal. Both together with some quality women in that group. A look over the edge, that's from the very top of the ridge into the Witzenberg Valley. What a beautiful sight. We come to our live pictures. So this is as it is happening now with our images from out on the route, and I'll put the disclaimer in right now. This is a remote part of the Western Cape. We will do our absolute best. Our entire crew are working tirelessly to bring you continual pictures from out on the route. Occasionally they will break up, and we'll apologize not for that, but we won't make any excuses. We're very privileged to be seeing this, and it's so cool. So here are the top teams that are racing along that brand new. This is the Uppercut Dam and the hill of the top end. So we'll be bringing you the coverage right way through to the finish. So with a 1 minute and 6-second Canada factory racing today, so we see them trying to make a bit of recap to that moment around Canada after the go through.
Because it's
find themselves in the lead of this race with virtual leaders as it stands now. Where to go still? Where's the routine? You have the routine.
Yeah, I did close in 2016.
Yep.
I picked up the people and we also came the same year. And
What's it stand out features. So what should the riders be wary of?
So when you now see here this map, it's actually on the left-hand side. There's a lot of civil trails on the right line. And if you go minus the end on the right side of the road, then it actually would be more too far and it's actually like the last water point. From there on, it's actually from the right multiplying back on this right range, and then we'll be coming back actually to the place where we came up the wagon trail and we're dropping down the whole wagon trail.
Yes, that little kicker up from Panorama, which is now on the left side on the ridge line there. They drag up the acre. That's a long climb and a hard, rough climb up onto the ridge line. And beautiful visuals you'll see as they ride along the ridge line and then hit the trail that they've come up. And that, Bart was talking about it earlier, how the benefits of you've gone up a trail that you're going to come down later. So you sort of have an idea what to expect.
Yes, you know a bit like how rocky it is if there are a lot of loose rocks, but you also still have to consider that by the time you're coming down, all about almost rise came the same going up, so it might be even a bit worse how the situation looks like.
I can tell you now, we even saw one or two of these elite riders walking up there, putting their bikes up there, it's very technical. And a large portion of this back end of the field will be putting their bikes up that trail. It is brutally hard, it really is. So it will be clearly different to surface to that which they can up on. 2 hours and 11 minutes into the racing here in the Vitsenburg Valley on stage 2 of this Axicate Epic. Just a quick recap, I can tell you that the amateur leaders of the lap there, Gloria Serpolis and Oskaris Muziniks, they are an amateur team from Latvia. They call themselves a wannabe Ferrari teams, and the way they're going, I think they wouldn't be long before they are. Masters of the Carl Pratt and Thomas Villaseca, the Crown Masters of the Lily Water and Thomas Julia, the Crown Grand and Great Grand Masters of the Party Booker to the Crown, the lead of the Grand Champion. The next is brought by the Toyota Gazoo team of Leo Verdeman and Samantha Sanders. So that's some of the categories that are racing here, and the racing is very important for those through these categories. So now it's especially about what's the race up in the world.
Subjects, and it's I mean if you get back here to the epic, and it's just in a way, it creates some goosebumps because you know what it is about, and in a way it makes you also, yes, maybe next year I will do it again.
Yes, it is. I think you referred to a magnet yesterday. It's like a magnet, draws you back in, and you've been in the heart of it before, at the racing sharp end of it. So it will be something that you feel as you come into the race village. There's an electricity that draws you in. So the yellow jersey, the story of the day at the moment in the elite men's race is that the World Bicycle Relief pair of Nido Schurter and Sebastian Finney are trailing by 2 minutes and 14 seconds halfway through the stage, a puncture. Managing that effort and chasing back, not panicking, not going too hard, too deep. That's going to be a real test of their partnership.
Yeah, what we also don't know is like how serious was the puncture, if the cartridge was now enough to fill it, or what is maybe there's too much air in the tire, which also has an impact on the riding. So, but we crossed also the water point or checkpoint, so in case it was really serious, each of our jobs we just to change the flow.
Yes, as long as it's sealed, they'll be alright. But we're leaking time. This is our top 3 women's team, running in formation. Both factory races. Look at this is our hardest time here in this part of the world, and the ladies are working out on the farms, just loving every arrival of the mountain bikes. They've learned for a long time with the anti-carriage issue here. As I said, the Harlequin brothers, Safi and Hannes, are the only pair to have written 10 ABSA Cape Epics together. And Hannes is riding this year. Safi is the one who is responsible for a longer trail today on the Southern Farm of Rotterdam. And get to the new trails that Panorama owns for both has been involved with that to take a look on the path down there. So, yeah, it's actually very much part and parcel of the fabric here of the you were looking at me yesterday, but we used to ride around it, didn't you?
Yeah, we came out to happen that in the races that enough to be on the same position or that we are all in the same place. So that definitely
because that's pretty much designed today's stage, which is back to the character Enrico Berger. This is right in the shade of the shadow, and I appreciate that today is going to get very, very warm in that valley. It's a slightly higher altitude than down here in Tilbach, but hydration and food intake critical. Was it a whisper that Gail Gregor might have got some cramps yesterday, and as a result that team lost they're 6 minutes behind the Orbea Speed Company, Lead Speed Company team. So early stages, we win the track, still the early stages, they have yet to reach that 47 kilometer mark.
Yes, no, great to reach that point, and listen from the time check, the top of the middle of that time check was Vera Rosa and Alexis Spada, just radio they had a mechanical on the trail. It's difficult to get that prepared, to get that on the trail as soon as possible. Just talk a little bit about this illustrious lineup, these three teams in the picture right now, the Canada Factory Racing team, and the first Factory Racing team, and Toyota Special has an illustrious list of riders. And we've got Noah Mittermeier, a two-time World Marathon Champion, Nicole Poller, a World Junior Champion in 2014, and is the multiple national champion of South Africa. And Joshua coming from the multiple national champion in Holland, and an illustrious lineup. Sophia Davis Delfana, Argentina Champion Selection, Ray Lee Count, Oceania Championships jerseys. So it's an illustrious lineup for sure.
It seems a long time ago, Canada still won a bronze medal at the World Junior Championships in Australia, 2008 maybe, but she's
just recently
silver medal in the marathon. Yeah. So she's trod an interesting path where she started out as a cross-country racer, and for many years sort of fluctuated between the two and couldn't really settle on it. She's still doing the cross-country, but that marathon performance showed her to be a hugely versatile and a rider with a really strong engine.
At the end, it's like that she's definitely here in South Africa doing more stage racing and marathons. But if she travels overseas, then it's cross-country. And okay, last year Marathon Worlds was included in the cycling games or in Scotland. That was like just also I guess it was a week later or 1.5 week later when she also competed in the cross country race.
Yeah, it did help that last year to have all the cycling disciplines in one country. It was incredible that couple of weeks of the very best cycling, track, road, downhill, mountain biking, traveled a lot. It was amazing. Well, a little time to take a respite here, stretch out, get just take it easy on this beautiful piece of tarmac road as they head along the base of the valley. Canada still just stopping alongside the trail. We'll get a look. She's not panicked too much, it seems.
But
something she's not happy with. Well, her partner's riding up the road. Candice is having to either a valve or a spoke. Neil, what are your tech eyes telling us there?
Oh, she seems to be looking at the valve, and but it's taking rather a long time. It's surprisingly long.
You have to tell Jessie she should get closer.
Jessie Nixon's on our bike there. She can go close. It's not a problem. and get a look at what the problem is for Candice Sills. You can't help her, but she can certainly get the camera in there. Now she's on her way.
Showing the professionalism and the experience of Candice Law, absolutely no panic whatsoever. And you'd imagine how easy it would be to panic with the head of the race tearing up the road and of course losing time, knowing how much time deficit she has to make up, but knowing that less haste, but how does the saying go? More haste, less speed, and she's highly aware of that. She's very experienced racer, both in marathon and cross country, and knows all about trail-side repairs.
Well, Jessie Nixon is our rider on the Bulls Media e-bike. Good morning, Jessie. What were you aware what the problem was for Candice there?
Looks like Candice had a slight flat tire, so she just had to top it up with a bomb quickly, and now we're on the chase for the group.
She was incredibly calm, wasn't she?
Yes, very composed. We got her tools ready to go.
Tell us about the conditions out there in terms of what it's like for the riders.
Super rocky and awkward up the pass. It's now nice and open, still very dusty though, and very dry.
Weather conditions?
It's definitely heating up. So it's going to be interesting to see how the riders fare under the warmth.
That's fantastic, Jessie. Thanks very much. Now she's just regaining contact with Mona Mitterballer and the group a little bit further up the road. Right.
One interesting fact, maybe also in certain areas, it is also, it's better to stay actually on the track and not going like a little shortcut over the fields, because we always have all these situations when you have these devil thorns, and if you go on a trail when we, in a way, like over the time we just got actually pushed aside or got already collected, so the risk that you get a lot of devil thorns into your tires is far less if you stick or if you stay on the track. And this just came back when I just quickly saw Candice took a little bit like a shortcut.
You could just catch a glimpse as we were with Candice and Mona there, the helicopter up the road, and that is the flag being flown above the leading group, which will give them an indication as to how far they are up the road. But it doesn't look like there's a little bit of pace there, but nothing too extreme.
Yeah, I guess this is also a kind of normality that if a team drops back and they have been running with other teams together, that normally they say, okay, we have to get the loss and this one can try and increase the pace. So especially when somehow the team is something that trying to be on the board for this team get up to the
mechanical factors, that's what happens. You just refer to, leaving the car and going over technical absolutely positive. This total agreement and no total agreement back then. This is racing at the highest level of the competition. And we should be very much one of the race teams into the finish in the championship when it's super intense. And there is an aspect of it's very easy to take this far downhill and cut corners and do all of those things, but that's also a risk to your equipment, not to the body and life and living, but just to your tires. Or a crash could break a handlebar, for instance. You've experienced with that, Sabine. And it's one of those things. It's absolutely all part of racing is to keep air in your tires.
And it makes it all exciting because you never know what can happen or what happens during the race. And also for the audience, there was also something interesting. We don't have like the view from.
There are images that you have memories of the Antica that we gave over the years, and what is that the disastrous day for you in the miners that you crashed on the bridge? So, and those are a few high images and the moments that happen to be good on camera. So they do through those relatively. The base of the valley at the moment, more of the rocky cedar track that Sabine been referring to on the far side of the valley, on the eastern slopes of the valley, and that will be a test for these riders. Perhaps this is just a period to regroup and to prepare for the tougher terrain to come.
Yeah, and if the riders are doing Tankwa track, they would just come from the other side at this place, joining into the Witzenberg Valley and these trails.
Yeah, the Sip Cafe, which is in fact just under those trees there, is a lovely little coffee shop as you come into the valley, down into the Witzenberg Valley, on the only road in and out. And that's a wonderful spectator point for people coming to watch us there. There are plenty of cars there, an opportunity to catch a glimpse of the riders coming through. Now they're making their way out onto the eastern slopes of the mountains of the Witzenberg Valley. Rocky, very, very rocky terrain that they get to experience. It sounds, but that is a remarkable stuff.
And also comparing I rode at first 2016 and then later 2020. So there's always like process like in making a big better. 2019 was like that, 2016 was still they improved just the surface to make it more rideable also for a wider range of cyclists.
Having said that, going up the wagon trail today is going to test these riders, the back end of the field. I think we're back with our leading teams going snaking through the single track quite fast here.
You can see the orange jerseys of Ghost Factory Racing, and still no catch from Mona Mitterwalder and Candice Lowe. They have not yet regained contact. Also, the time loss of the day definitely goes to the Efficient Infinity Insure. They've lost 6 minutes already at that 18-kilometer mark. We will soon be at the 44-kilometer mark, and should be on. If they're on schedule to arrive, they should be arriving in just a few minutes. The team of Gomez Villafana and Tamara Shepherd, they will be arriving at that checkpoint Belcomier.
And that will be just about halfway through the stage today, and then we'll get a gauge on where they are now. Samara Shepherd is hanging with the Ghost team here, but Sophia Gomez Villafana just a few bike lengths off the back of her partner. Still, this is some of the more benign trails, if you like, that they are having to ride through now.
Yeah, so it still comes a bit little bit later on. So the areas there are peaks, corners, and where you actually need to almost know which gear you need to get around the corner. If you approach it with a too big gear, then you almost can't get your pedals around. So it's definitely the advantage now for the Ghost team that they have ridden this course and they know how in a way also to read a bit the circuit, like also the line and the corners, to be prepared and change the gearing in the right moment.
Just still on the chase is the team of Cannondale Factory Racing. Look at the general classification going into today's stage. Looking at the GC after stage 1, Cannondale Factory Racing were 1 minute and 6 seconds behind Ghost Factory Racing, and 6 minutes back off Ghost Factory Racing are Toyota Specialized 91, 6 minutes and 12 seconds to be exact.
Boy, that's a nice image now we just got from the helicopter, as you saw the leading quartet going through the rocky area there. So, well, not even a minute. They're closing in. Very, very, very well done. They just opened it a little bit to close the gap. They're not far off now. Candice Hill and Mona Mitavala, they will be rejoining that lead group, and it'll be 3 teams on the front. Just a little example of the rocky terrain they are riding through. It's rocky and sandy, that white sand that can also sometimes hold its own little devils.
Yeah, you definitely also have in the corners areas where it's a bit deeper and easily you get caught, and it also pushes you a bit over the corner, over the ledge.
Yeah, soft sand. They will not have that huge amount of rain in this part of the Western Cape, but as it is, should be. It's summer and it's a winter rainfall region, but it'll be dry and dusty. There they are, just up the trails are not far away as they are approaching the 47 kilometer mark in Belgium, the second of 3 water points. There is a hydration stop at the top of the tough section, but that's just literally
It's a water stop.
water stop, and that's it, not a big full-on water point.
You almost want to turn now the camera back to where?
Catch them. Where they must be coming.
But you just
Yeah.
you have like a marker, okay, and hard to see really how many seconds now the gap is for Candice and for Mona Mitavala.
Certainly from the body language we saw from Candice Lowell, all under control, all very controlled, knowing that there is still many, many hours to race. Several, we guess possibly even up to 30 hours still to race for during race week.
نتداول مع إكسنس وبخبرتنا نصمد في وجه أي تحدي. ثقتنا في وسيطنا بلا حدود. تداول مع حماية مالية لا مثيل لها. إكسنس التداول جزء منه.
And there is absolutely no point in going deep into the red at this point just to catch up 1 minute. Keep a controlled pace, stay in touch as much as possible, and also keep air in those tires.
Yeah, she's got the experience. Last year she and her partner lost a huge amount of time through an injury, and they didn't panic. In fact, did incredibly well, and then came back to lead the race, only to have it all fall apart on the second last day. So yeah, the experience here. Mona Mitavala, she's 22, but she seems to have so much maturity about the way she approaches riding.
So for her young age, she thinks and acts very professionally, and she always she is like so completely like sport is where her 100% focus, or actually 110% focus sits on, and yeah, we see, and she is. I mean, she was in the juniors category. She already announced actually her goals, her targets for when she actually would join the elite category, and I mean with winning a World Cup race, and also with the marathon. I mean, this is her second marathon world title, and the first one was in 2021 in Elba, and completely 2 different routings. Elba was rocky, a lot of elevation, and Scotland, yeah, like we know Scotland can be a little bit colder and a bit more rainy, so completely different situations, and yeah, she did on both races well.
And then won a couple of World Cups back-to-back last year as well. So she's, this is Howard Grotz and Matt Beers. Beers repairing a puncture. So time leaking away for the Specialized team here, the Toyota Specialized 91. They were in that lead group, and they are losing time now. It is the story of the day. It's turning out to be punctures in the women's race, and a second puncture amongst the leading teams in the men's.
And it was somehow a little bit predicted, also with the heavy winter rainfalls, that the course is very washed out, and a lot of rocks which in a way also then causing these trouble.
Yes, it's no secret that this part of the world in June, July last year experienced some of the heaviest rainfalls we've seen in many, many years, and yeah, lots of washout and lots of erosion that has exposed rocks and created some difficulties for trail builders and for the riders.
And it's not something that you would pick up necessarily on just a casual ride out on your on a nice any Sunday. The reason the riders are picking up punches because they are riding at the limit. They're riding, if not at the limit, but certainly close to it, and that always means that you just take a slightly more aggressive line through a section and don't always avoid a rock, but might just to keep up, just to stay in touch with the rider in front, might just hop over or just. We could call it a micro risk, you could say, rather than being completely careful and just, as we said, out on a casual ride. It's part of racing.
And another fact is also it's always a challenge to really get the right tire pressure, because you have to see the riders we started this morning at 7 o'clock. If you pump up the tire to your normal pressure with the heat of the day, you would have far more pressure in the tires, which also in a way doesn't suit you, because it doesn't give you the nice grip and the rolling on the rocks. And if you're a little bit too low, then it can happen that in the early morning hours you have like the risk that you get a puncture because it's just slightly too less pressure.
So how do you do that then? Say you coolish start and you're going into a hot day. What would you?
It's this is the tricky part, especially when you also have to consider, okay, up the wagon trail, I also don't want to risk that I get a puncture. So when in a way you would almost say, I need a bit, maybe I just go a bit on the harder side or a little bit more, because you can still maybe manage to with a bit of harder pressure, but you don't want to actually the risk of punching.
Yeah. So you would risk the right quality and the right feel for less risk, because there's punches and there's punches. Of course, there's a puncher like a devil thorn, for example, would be sealed pretty quickly by some sealant in the tire, but a slash on the sidewall would be more challenging, and worst of all, a cut on the bead. That is the worst kind of puncture you would never want to have when there is a cut on the bead of the tire, because that is a section of the tire that flexes a little bit more than the other sections and opens and closes, and it's almost impossible to seal when something like that affects you.
And if you ever have a thorn, whatever kind of thorn it is, or if something goes into your tire, leave it in. Don't pull it, because it actually works like a plug. If the moment you pull it out, the risk of leaking and losing air is even higher. So also for our audience,
those who are starting out,
just leave it in.
Yeah, don't fear it. Didn't ride it. Just break it off and then use it as a plug. Don't pull it out.
That's one of the things that we didn't get a chance to